Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. We're back once again with Umineko. I've got my trusty narrator, co-narrator, Cowman here.
Yep, back again.
And I've got my trusty gin and tonic as well.
Oh yes, that is important.
So we're gonna continue from where we left off, obviously, and continue with the story. We've had some real interesting stuff happen last time. The plot just getting thicker and thicker. And I would say I'm getting almost more and more confused, but I'm also understanding more.
Maria disclosed the letter. That was a big deal.
Yes, the letter from Beatrice. And now there's sort of a question whether one of the characters is pretending to be Beatrice, or if indeed she is her own person.
Is there 18 people or 19 people on Rekenjima?
Exactly. Let's go. Are you ready, Callum?
Oh yes, let's go.
Natsuhi could be found in a dimly lit hallway. Now and then the thunder would crash, but this had no effect on Natsuhi's expression. She looked completely worn out. The discussion that had just taken place between the relatives in the dining hall was repeating itself in Natsuhi's mind. Beatrice had proclaimed that in addition to the gold, all of the inheritance and prosperity of the Yoshiromiya family would be given to the person who could solve the riddle. In other words, she planned to undermine the absolute guarantee that Kraus, as the oldest brother, had to succeed the family head. Originally, the other siblings had absolutely no chance to inherit the headship. To them, this proposal by Beatrice was extremely desirable. It was obvious they would accept it. There was no need to play some clumsy detective game. Natsuhi knew that this so-called 19th person, Beatrice, couldn't exist. Naturally, Beatrice was nothing more than a fictional character used to pass a message that Kinzo had written himself. As proof, Kinzo had remained stubbornly neutral as to that letter's authenticity. He was completely ignoring these reckless claims that he shouldn't be able to ignore, that he had to give up the head's ring. In short, Kinzo had wordlessly admitted that the letter held his own message. Most likely one of the servants had given Maria the letter. Kinzo had probably worked out an elaborate plan where the dress from the portrait would be prepared, and someone, probably Shannon, would be made to wear it and deliver the letter and the umbrella. By doing that, he could make it seem like the witch from the portrait actually existed. No, if anything, that alone was proof that Kinzo was behind all this. In that case, it was the same as Kinzo trying to butt in on the siblings' private discussion. Then, Kinzo, by announcing that he'd give everything to the person who solved the riddle, could weaken Kraus's overwhelming advantage. Now it was certain. Kinzo had eavesdropped on the siblings' discussion in the parlor earlier that day, so he had known how Kraus had staved off the attack by the other three, and to make the scales of the battle go back into balance, he'd sent out this strange letter, which benefited Kraus's rivals. He was trying to push this crazy theory so that Rosa, who had a weak position among the siblings because of her age, would join with Eva and Rudolph. Then, With a 3-to-1 advantage, they'd be able to overwhelm Kraus yet again, and make their ridiculous theories get accepted by force. And by doing that, he gave them the power to resettle what had once been a nearly decided conflict. They had now started repeatedly pressing Kraus to pay them a large amount of money. Using the condition that all of the siblings would guarantee Kraus's position as the successor, talk about advance payments was being brought up again despite having been rejected once. Of course, even without the story about the hidden gold, the Ushiromiya family's store of wealth was vast. That store of wealth alone was more than enough. Even if the hidden gold was buried forever, along with Kinzo's death, there would be more than enough to satisfy. Therefore, even if they weren't that interested in the gold itself, Kinzo had managed to instill the lifelong fear that, on the off chance that someone found the gold, that person would be granted the headship. And this kind of Achilles heel would definitely be taken advantage of by someone, sooner or later. The only person with this fatal weakness was the successor, Kraus. The other siblings had they had been told by Kinzo about something that only Kraus could lose, and they'd thoroughly taken advantage of that. Natsuhi, as Kraus's only ally in his painful position, and as his wife, wanted to fight alongside him. She kept trying to explain to him that the existence of the gold itself was a farce, and that there was no need for him to compromise. Kraus had always told Natsuhi. He had told all of the siblings. He always said that the hidden gold was nothing more than an illusion created by Kinzo. Therefore, Natsuhi had believed it as his wife and had supported her husband on that foundation. Even so, Natsuhi's words didn't reach Kraus. Even though Natsuhi had fought so hard and had lent all of her strength, he continued to fight by himself and was trying to compromise with the other 3 siblings. Natsuhi sadly and weakly wondered why she could not be of use to him, then started getting angry. It had happened when everyone decided to take a short break to cool their heads. Natsuhi had flared up against Kraus. Enraged, she had asked why she could not be useful to him. He had then told her that he wanted to talk about something, and invited her into a room that she was normally not allowed to enter. That room had been sealed, with a heavy-looking padlock, and just looking at it had given her an uncomfortable feeling. There's no need for you to worry about anything said by those 3, or even this suspicious person who calls herself Beatrice. After all, the gold is just a ruse created by father. There's no way something like that could be found. Your position as the successor is a solid fact. What are you afraid of? Kraus removed the padlock on the door. He then motioned for Natsuhi to enter. What is this?
There is something I want you to see. I've never shown you this before.
What's he showing her? Natsuhi timidly opened the door with a dubious expression on her face. It was pitch black. She searched for a switch to turn on the lights, but since this was her first time in the room, she didn't know where it was. Kraus entered behind her, pushing her in, and when he closed the door before turning on the lights, the 2 were swallowed up by the darkness. Only the sound of Kraus locking the door rang out through the dark. But what are you doing? The lights.
Turning them on now. Wait.
Just as he said, when Kraus pushed a switch on the wall, a flickering light turned on and lit up the room.
それは
That is... Natsuhi had her breath taken away. The room had no windows, and at a glance it appeared to be empty. In the middle of the room, a small round table had been set, and the lights brightened only that table, as if it were the leading part in a play. On top of the table, a red tablecloth of elaborate design had been set out, covered with dust. And on top of that, something, about the size of a grown man's arm, had been set down. That something took Natsuhi's breath away. Oh, the gold!
It's a gold ingot of incredible purity.
Looks fucking yum.
Without this, no one would have believed in the legend of the gold.
It was an ingot of solid gold. Even in the faint light, it sparkled with a noble and dignified glint.
This is not a proper ingot. I don't even know whether it was cast inside or outside the country.
It took a high level of skill to make the purest of solid gold ingots. And in order to verify that purity, it was standard to have the original foundry and the name of the bank that guaranteed it imprinted on the gold. However, this ingot did not have that kind of seal. This mysterious gold bar had come from an unknown foundry.
Look here. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a bar of gold.
Natsuhi followed Kraus's words, timidly approaching the ingot.
Right there.
Kraus pointed at the surface of the ingot. Natsuhi concentrated on that section. Right there was the thin imprint of the one-winged eagle crest. Natsuhi's breath was taken away once again.
That's right. This is the legendary ingot that Father said he received from the witch, that the president of the Marusu witnessed and was allowed to select at random to take back with him. Gained the trust of the fixers in the business world. I had to use all possible means to find it. I found it before the other siblings could.
How could... Then... The legend of Father's gold is...
It actually exists. Or at least one of the ingots does. The gold that the Ushiromiya Kinzu received from Beatrice actually exists.
Impossible. So it really does exist. Natsuhi was shocked. Kraus had always said that Kinzo's gold was just a fabrication. So she had believed it, as his wife. However, the reality was different. Since he held definite proof, he had been more certain than any of the other siblings that the legend of the gold was true. Because of this, Kraus was deeply frightened at the possibility that someone other than himself would find the gold he'd failed to find, costing him everything. But to Natsuhi, this truth was more than enough to split open her heart. She had thought that, as Kraus's wife, she should be his closest confidant, which was why she had selflessly supported him. And yet, he had hid this fact from her, until today. Why? Have I been so undeserving of your trust?
Has never been my intention. There was simply no need to tell you.
Is that all a wife means to you?
Calm down. Becoming passionate easily is one of your bad habits. What nonsense.
You're the one who's making me like that, aren't you? I've been supporting you as a wife ever since I married into this family. For your sake, I threw away the family I was born into. And I've been offering up my heart and my body to serve you. And in return, this is what I get. How could you? Kraus grimaced, looking annoyed. His expression effectively communicated how much he disliked this part of Natsuhi, even if he didn't say it out loud. Doesn't look like I will be of any use to you anymore.
That's fine.
Wow, crap. How did these two ever get together in the first place?
Who knows? I can resolve the troubles with the siblings by myself. I don't need your help.
That's wrong. This is the Ushiromiya family's problem. It's true that I'm not permitted to wear the family crest on my body, but I'm still your wife. Even so, are you saying I'm not capable of helping you? Are you?
I especially wouldn't want to risk you getting you involved. It would probably make your headaches even worse than they are now. Take a rest for today. The siblings will deal with the siblings' problems. It has nothing to do with you. That is all.
Holy shit, so that one gold bar confirmed is in existence. A dull headache tormented Natsuhi. No matter what medicine she took, no matter what scents she burned, it wouldn't heal. In fact, simply wandering alone through the dark corridors and listening to the sound of the rain seemed to be a better cure. I may be Natsuhi, but I was never Ushiromiya Natsuhi. I have been despised and treated as a borrowed wound, and insulted when I couldn't even fill that role. Even so, I have tried to properly perform my duties as a wife. But now, even my husband has rejected me. I've done my best raising my daughter, as if it were the last job left to me. However, I've had no release for my anger and sadness, and they've caused me to subconsciously strain that relationship too, because I've been excessively strict in Jessica's education. She dislikes me thoroughly. She despises me for having no interest in anything but grades. There is no longer anything I can do for the Ushiromiya family. No. That's no good. Despite it all, I must help my husband and beat back the schemes of the other greedy siblings. The family head won't be around much longer. Eventually Kraus will succeed the head. And the next successor will be Jessica. Strictly speaking, the man who enters the family by marrying Jessica will become the next head, but it all comes to the same thing. I have to make Jessica an excellent successor, whom everyone will accept as worthy to take over the Ushiromiya family. In the days to come, that greedy Ushiromiya Eva will probably be plotting to find some fault with the main family. And if all goes as she plans, Jessica will be dragged down from the succession, with George set up in her place. It is regrettable, but George is a man, and even more, has matured as a person, compared to Jessica, who is right in the middle of her rebellious period and whose grades are slightly below average. It can be seen at a glance who is more fit to succeed the head. So in order to secure Jessica's position, I need to turn her into an excellent person. After doing that, I want to find her an excellent husband worthy of the excellent person she will have become. A wonderful man who will truly accept Jessica and stay with her through all of life's joys and sorrows. Was Natsuhi trying to entrust her daughter with fulfilling some desire of her own? Natsuhi thought back to the days when she had had no choice but to marry into the Ushiromiya family. Because of that unavoidable fate, she tried to block that from her memory. She had consciously forgotten it and had actively attended to the life she'd been given as Ushiromiya Natsuhi, and in doing so she had built up a new life. But just now, it felt like all of that had been casually rejected. How should I think as I live my life? I do not know. Natsuhi helplessly rested her head against the glass of the window. The glass, which was cool thanks to the raindrops beating against it, felt somehow refreshing. Even though it should have been emotionless, right then it seemed to be the only thing that could understand Natsuhi. At that point, even if someone had appeared, Natsuhi didn't intend to pay any attention to them. But she did pay attention, because it was her beloved daughter.
Oh, it's you, Mum. What the heck are you doing in a place like this? What, you're a ghost?
Just like always, her words were rough, and not at all like a girl's. Instinctively, words of rebuke rose to Natsuhi's throat. However, their strength gave out and they didn't escape her lips. Jessica. Forgive me. But my headache is awful. Please leave me be.
I see.
Jessica was seeing her mother in a position of feebleness for the first time, so she was considerably disconcerted. Until just now, she'd been filled with contempt for all of the parents, including her mother. But now those feelings had been completely swept away. Her mother's utterly exhausted face had wiped them all out. In its place, the words George had told her floated back up in her mind. Our parents are doing their best in their own way, and because their families are counting on them, they can't afford to keep everything pleasant, and have a heavy responsibility to fight. Maybe her mother had been standing around in this dimly lit hallway, because no one had tried to understand that in her. Jessica hated her mother, so she had no intention of speaking kindly to Natsuhi just because she was looking a bit frail. So when she attempted to speak kindly to her mother anyway, she had to clench her fists and gather up the words from deep in her heart.
It sounds like you've really got your hands full with that meeting thing.
It has nothing to do with you. Please, go somewhere else.
Is your headache bad? Should I go get some medicine?
You don't have to trouble yourself. Please, leave me alone. Natsuhi wasn't being cold. She She just wanted her daughter to go as far away so that she wouldn't have to bump against Natsuhi's own short temper. But there was no chance that Jessica would realize this.
Okay.
Jessica hung her head, looking sad. Seeing that expression, Natsuhi recognized the kindness that Jessica was trying to muster. She gave her head a small shake to drive away her own unkind feelings.
Then I'll leave. I'll be with the other cousins. I don't get in the way of the adults. See you later.
Wait there. She called Jessica, who was trying to leave and looked lonely, to a stop.
What?
Thank you for being so considerate. It isn't good of me to go to sleep and leave you alone.
Don't talk like that. You'll bring bad luck.
I've made you worried, but I'm okay now. I will go. If I let my daughter see me this feeble any longer, I'll only make her feel more uneasy. With that thought in mind, Natsuhi left Jessica with words of gratitude and made to depart. This time, Jessica called out to her mother's back. Natsuhi stopped and turned around, asking what business Jessica had with her. But Jessica herself didn't know why she'd stopped her mother. And for a while she smiled wryly, muttering to herself, as she hesitated over what to say. She was poking around in her pocket when her hand touched something, and she took it out.
Hey Mum. I was given a charm today. What was it? A charm against magic? I'm pretty sure that you were supposed to hang it from your doorknob, I think. I forget. There's no point in me having it, so I'll let you take it.
It was the scorpion charm that Maria had given her on the beach. Although she'd heard of its various effects from Maria, Jessica's mind had gone blank and she was just barely able to say even that much. Jessica, thinking that her mother probably wouldn't accept it anyway, immediately drew back the hand she had stuck out, grasping the charm. So when Natsuhi came back to take it, she was extremely shocked. What is this? Some kind of prize toy?
Well, I think it's something like that. I guess you wouldn't really expect a charm that looks like a toy to do anything.
But her mother took the charm from where she grasped it in her hand. Thank you. I'll take good care of it. Sometime soon, in exchange, why don't I give you a charm that was important to me when I was a child?
It's not like that's why I gave it to you. But, well, if you really say so.
Then I will rest for now. My headache is awful. Try not to stay up too late.
Sure.
Natsuhi put the charm in her pocket and turned away. She then disappeared into the dark hall. It seems the weather will be like this all day tomorrow after all. Dang, this makes the good weather we had earlier feel like a lie. George, Anarchy, and I were killing time in front of the parlor television. At that point, Jessica returned. Her face was still blank, but it looked like she'd calmed down a little since we'd last seen her.
Is Maria still in front of the portrait?
Nope. She just came back, and she's sleeping over there on the sofa. It's getting pretty late for her, after all. Looking at the clock, I saw it was a little past 10 p.m. Even if we were planning to stay up all night, it was about time we headed back to our room.
Well, my mum did have a room prepared for us in the mansion. What'll we do?
I'd rather head back to the guest house. Going by what we saw of our parents, I think it'd be better if we weren't in the mansion. I agree. Feels like they're telling us kids to mind our own business and stay out of their way. Let's be good little boys and girls and do that. As we were talking about this, Aunt Rosa came into the parlour. She was looking all over restlessly, probably trying to find Maria. Aunt Rosa, if you're looking for Maria, she's over there on the sofa. Thank you. My, she's out cold. We must move her to a bed. If you'd like, I'll carry her over to a bed. Thanks. That would be wonderful. Are you all heading back to the guest house? Or are you going to stay in the room Natsui-ni-san prepared here?
We were just talking about that. We just decided to head over to the guest house.
I see. Then, could I ask you to take Maria with you? I'd feel much more reassured if she stays with all you cousins. Behind those words, she seemed to be concealing some regret that the adults, herself included, had deeply hurt Maria's feelings. Leave it to us, Aunt Rosa. After all, we do have an expert at comforting Maria with us. Are you talking about me? I couldn't do it myself. We'll need everyone together.
That's right. Battle, weren't you the one who hit it off with Maria when you were messing around earlier?
As we said this, Aunt Rosa smiled, looking truly happy. Thank you, everyone. It looks like our meeting will last until very late. So while I'm sorry to burden you like this, I'll be counting on you all to take care of Maria. Hey, Maria. Are you sound asleep? We're going back to the guest house. Maria muttered something indistinct, rolled over and fell back asleep. It looked like she was... It looked like she was sleeping deeply.
She's really out cold.
I'm starting to wonder if she's drugged the way they're all talking about her.
I'd hate to wake her.
Right, I'll carry her.
Yeah, Aunt Rosa was like, "Where's Maria? I wanna hit her again."
Yeah. Maria's body was much lighter than it looked. I lifted her up and put her on George Anaki's back. Oh, Callum, we got ourselves a view bot, mate, in the chat.
Oh, go in and kill him.
Put
how do I do
put
that?
them to the sword. Walk the plank.
Ban.
Motherfucker.
Dead.
Get wrecked. It was raining hard outside, and Aniki couldn't hold an umbrella and carry Maria at the same time. It looked like Aunt Rosa would come with us as far as the guest house to help out. However, when she heard Uncle Krause's voice call out to her, she had no choice but to return. Now that's a problem. I have to go back now.
Is everyone returning to the guest house?
Shannon is so breathy. After we left the hall on the way to the entrance, the door to the servant room opened and Shannon-chan stepped out.
It has grown very dark, so allow me to guide you.
That would be great, Shannon-chan. George-kun is going to carry Maria there. Could you hold an umbrella for him?
Yes, certainly.
Shannon-chan brought umbrellas for each of us and a flashlight to guide the way. As we opened the front door, the downpour was quite terrific. It looked like we wouldn't have any spare time to take a pleasant walk and enjoy the nighttime rose garden. Aniki, is she too heavy? Want me to carry her? It's okay. I can at least carry Maria-chan. I'm truly grateful. Please, take care of Maria.
Sure, you got it. And I guess this is good night, Aunt Rosa. You'll see them over there and return here.
Yes, please. Aunt Rosa watched us leave. Maria. I'm sorry for everything. Rosa's mumbling voice didn't reach the person in question, nor any of the kids, but disappeared beneath the sound of the rain.
For everything?
Oh.
What does she
All the
mean by
slaps.
that?
After cutting through the rainy rose garden, we arrived at the guest house. If only I'd applied for the position of Maria Carrier. Then I would have gotten a chance to have Shannon-chan's huge boobs rubbing all over my arm. That's not why I did it. It's a misunderstanding.
I thought that if I didn't walk like this, George-sama would get all wet. Come on, quit babbling and go in.
After being urged on by Jessica, we folded up our umbrellas and went into the guest house.
Has anyone gotten their clothes wet? I can bring some towels if you want.
You don't need to worry about us that much. Thanks, Shannon-chan. Ah, that's right. We were planning to play cards or something. Would you care to join us for a bit?
Huh? Who had the night shift on today's schedule? I believe we had a special schedule during the family conference. Also, I think a few alterations have been made, so I will go and check.
Wait, if you have to go all the way back to the mansion to find out, don't force yourself.
Oh, that's all right. I can find out from the servant room in the guest house. Please excuse me for a short time.
Shannon-chan gave a quick bow and went into the guest house servant room. The rest of us headed for the cousin's room and decided to put Maria to bed for the time being. Maria was sleeping very deeply, and there was absolutely no sign of her eyes opening. For now, we'd get some soft drinks out of the room's refrigerator and drink those while playing cards or something.
Oh? Kanon-kun. And you're here too, Genji-sama? What has happened with tonight's shift?
Kraus-sama has given an order. He made some sizable changes to the shift schedule.
Indeed. Goda-san now has the night shift at the mansion. Shannon and Kanon have the night shift in the guest house. Kumasawa-san and I have been ordered to sleep in the guest house.
Interesting.
Just now, a phone call came saying that once you arrived, you were to also remain here for the rest of the night. That certainly is a sizable change. The shifts at the guest house and the mansion have been completely reversed, haven't they?
Originally, Shannon and Canon had been assigned the night shift in the mansion, while the night shift in the guest house, where all of the relatives were staying, had been assigned to Goda, who had an abundance of experience in entertaining. Kumasawa should have been sleeping at the guest house, while Genji should have been sleeping in the mansion. However, it seemed that Kraus had suddenly ordered that the schedule be modified. The shifts at the guest house and the mansion had all been reversed, and Genji was spending the night in the guest house. It's probably because of Beatrice-sama's letter.
Why, probably.
After such a mysterious letter appeared, it was only natural that Kraus-sama would suspect one of us. We served directly under the master, so Kraus-sama tried as best he could to keep us far away from the family conference. Genji, Shannon, and Canon were all permitted to wear the Ushiromiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, as the servants who served directly under Kinzo. Of course, since they were workers for the Ushiromiya family, they had to obey anyone's orders, but their only boss was Kinzo. Since only Kinzo held the right to employ them, even Kraus could not have them dismissed of his own accord. Because of this, Kraus and the others often viewed these servants as Kinzo's underlings and shunned them. And in fact, Kinzo seldom let anyone other than them enter his study. This sudden change was probably a clear expression of the sense of mistrust that had caused. Considering the time Kinzo had left to live, this would definitely be the last family conference before the problem of the inheritance came up. On top of that, the mysterious letter that claimed to be from Beatrice had dropped in out of the blue. Kraus definitely wanted to keep Kinzo's loyal subjects away from the table of such a delicate and important discussion.
Will excuse me. I will go rest. If anything happens, call me immediately. I guess tonight is a special case, after all.
What does he mean by that?
How did he speak in bold?
Yes, certainly, Genji-sama.
Genji-sama.
Genji nodded back, went behind a screen, took off his jacket, and slowly began to relax after a day's worth of tension. The ones who just returned now, were they the children?
Yes. The other relatives are having a conference in the mansion. It looked like it would drag on for quite some time.
Then we've got it easy. It's already this late, and there's this weather. The rest of the relatives will probably spend the night in their rooms in the mansion.
Yes, probably. I'm only saying this because Genji-sama isn't around. But I'm a little happy I was sent to the guest house, I guess.
Oh.
She wants to rub her boobs on George some more.
What about Battler, mate? Maybe she thinks Battle is a creep.
It's fair.
Oh. Why is that? Because you can stay away from Madam and Eva-sama, those bullies? Or do you have another reason?
Not as though I have another reason.
I see. Then, let's do our best together with our night shift. I'm counting on you, Nissan.
Just now, I was asked to go to the children's room and play with them.
Shannon hung her head apologetically, gazing at Kanon uncertainly. Kanon didn't try to meet her eyes and spoke curtly as he sighed. It looked like he didn't plan on indulging his sister. You can't. You were assigned to the night shift. Besides which, it isn't necessarily for furniture like us to respond to an invitation to play. You understand, right?
Yes, I do understand.
Shannon's shoulders drooped slightly. She had already expected that Kanon, a stickler for rules, would say something like that, but she still seemed a little discouraged. As Kanon flipped through a logbook, he spoke without facing Shannon. That means the children will be waiting for you. You'll have to apologize and tell them you have the night shift and won't be able to stay with them. Go and come back.
Yes. I'll apologize and come back.
Shannon hurriedly stood from her seat before her brother's mood could change and flew out of the servants' room after giving a quick bow. As he watched her go, Kanon took a single deep breath. Genji's voice came from beyond the screen.
Kanon, I will be here, so you can go too.
Genji-sama. Shannon was the only one called. It's not as though I was invited.
That is only because you were not there at the time. If you had been, you would have been invited as well. It is good to play as a child from time to time.
No, such a thing is not necessary for me. Human children may have a need to play, but we are furniture.
Is that so?
Nei-san is also furniture. Even if she pretends to be a person, it'll only hurt her later. I understand that, so I try not to get too close to people. That's all. Genji didn't say anything after that. After a while, he stood up and used the pot of hot water to make a powdered cocoa, serving some to Kanon as well. Is that for real? I had no clue.
Unless you're too loud. You'll wake Maria up.
Battler was so surprised that he yelled obnoxiously and scattered his cards everywhere. His voice caused Maria to turn over once, but she soon fell back into a deep sleep. Jessica gave him a jab and he lowered his voice. Still, seriously, now that you mention it, they really did have that kind of atmosphere, didn't they? Ah, now I see. So George Anarchy is... George couldn't be seen anywhere in the room. A short while ago, when Shannon came into the room, George suddenly said that he'd forgotten something in the mansion and needed to go back and get it. Shannon said she would guide him, just like she had on the way to the guest house, and the two of them departed together.
Well, there's actually been signs of it for a while now. You know, questions about hobbies and favorite things. I always thought that it was a bit much for a passing interest. And look what has happened now.
Come to think of it, I get the feeling George Anarchy's always been overly nice to Shannon-chan. Now I get it.
Are you ready for a steamy scene together, Jimmy?
Oh!
Oh, I don't know if it'll be steamy.
yeah.
Wet. Definitely a rainy scene.
According to the weather report, it looks like it'll be at its worst tonight. It also seems it'll last all day tomorrow, though it should get a little better.
Really? Then maybe the boat won't arrive until the day after tomorrow. I hope that doesn't interfere with your work on Monday.
I already knew the typhoon would be coming beforehand. Just in case, I made sure I didn't have any plans for Monday, so it's okay. I may not look it, but I really am the type who can plan ahead in his schedule. George puffed out his chest, acting proud. Compared to the calm appearance George always had as the oldest cousin, he now looked amusingly like a little kid. Shannon chuckled at this abrupt contrast.
It's no surprise you're so well prepared. As someone who'll bring prosperity to his company someday. Or the romantic music's playing.
Well, making a company prosper really is a tough job. Money isn't the only thing that's important. I learned that well when studying under my father. Making a company prosper is like owning a castle and leading your subordinates. My dad really loves reading about great leaders during the warring periods of Japan, a hobby that's probably influenced by the fact that he shares Toyotomi Hideyoshi's name. Much of his philosophy on managing businesses comes from talking about them. Did you know? Takeda Shingen was feared as the leader of the strongest cavalry corps in the warring periods. Started out with his troops in complete disarray and didn't have the kind of strong leadership necessary to utilize them well.
Is that true? That's a little unexpected.
In order to unite his troops, Shingen showed his excellent leadership in many ways. For example, when a soldier succeeded well in battle, he would immediately honor them with a medal. Normally, that kind of thing was put off until after the war, and they were all awarded at once. He continued this diligently while on the field of battle, and immediately showing his appreciation for his troops' military exploits motivated them in an extremely significant fashion. George, mate, I don't think Shannon really gives a fuck about this, mate.
Yeah, it's not great foreplay, is it?
Also, whenever one of his troops was brought down by an illness, he would be the first to rush up to them and care for them and so on. Takeda Shingen wasn't just the man who led the strongest cavalry corps in the warring period. He was the person who cared the most for his troops throughout the warring period.
Because he was that kind of person, all of his troops went along with him.
The truth was, Shannon had already heard this story several years ago.
George, you fucking idiot.
Whenever a discussion of his father led to this sort of topic, George would always glow and look like he was having a great time. So Shannon just smiled without interrupting, urging him to continue. Of course, in a capitalist world, money determines both your strength and the height of your fortifications. But you can't build up a castle or succeed in a war by yourself. Such things can only be accomplished with the support of many subordinates, by borrowing their strength. After understanding this, when I look at my father's back, I realize how immature I am. I can clearly see how much competition he had to overcome before building up all he has now.
George-sama, you truly look up to your father. I'm jealous.
Sorry, that's not how I meant it.
I'm sorry. That's not how I meant it either.
The two of them awkwardly looked at their feet. Shannon had no parents. She'd been brought up in an orphanage owned by Kinzo called the Fukuin House. Under the guidance of Kinzo, their honorary director, the orphanage offered members who had excelled a chance for the on-the-job serving experience. If their efforts met with Kinzo's approval, they'd be able to leave the house, the orphanage, and work as servants for the Oshiromi family. This was considered to be the highest honor for those who lived in the orphanage. Servants from the Fukuin house all took names with the character On in them while they served. So Shannon wasn't her real name. The same went for Kanon. All of the members of the Fukuin house were orphans. At least, they were all people who had been separated from their parents under special circumstances. Because of this, the orphans had been taught to think of each other as their only family. That's why it seemed so natural to both of them when Kanon called Shannon his sister. And while both Shannon and Kanon were working in the mansion today, there were several other servants possessing the On character in their names, such as Manon and Lennon, who often worked in a rotation schedule. However, there were not many servants who stayed with the Ushiromi family for long. It was standard for them to quit after 3 years. So you could probably say that Shannon, who had been working for 10 years, was a notable exception to the rule. Working as a servant for the Ushiromi family was a heavy burden to bear, but the pay wasn't bad at all. Working for a full 3 years would earn more than what was needed to enter mainstream society. That was why, even though the orphans realized what a harsh task working for the Ushiromi family was, they still hoped to be accepted. Maybe the fact that Shannon managed to continue working for 10 years wasn't because she had more willpower than the other servants. Maybe she'd gotten stuck working for 10 years because she didn't have the courage to say she wanted to quit. Kinzo couldn't even trust his own blood relatives, and those excellent servants sent from the Fukuin house were the only ones he could rely on. Because of that, Kinzo would sometimes allow them to wear the family crest, as servants under his direct control, and have them work close to him. You've been working here for almost 10 years now, right? You must have saved up a lot of money by now.
I wonder. It's not like there's anything in particular I'd like to buy. After all, a few million yen isn't enough to live off for the rest of your life.
So, the reason you've been working all this time wasn't to hit some target sum?
Yes, that's right. I have nowhere to go outside this mansion. And I have been getting along well with Milady and the other young servants. The madam does scold me sometimes, but caring for the roses and cleaning the mansion is fun.
But that can't be your entire life, Shannon-chan. No. Sayo-chan. Is that her real name?
Sayo. Yeah.
Shannon cast her eyes downwards when she heard her real name. She understood what George was trying to say and fell silent. There's something I've learned. As I continue to study, even after becoming an adult and a full-fledged member of society, a human's life is not as monotonous or short as we thought when we were kids. All school-aged kids have certain fears they can't shake. They wonder whether they'll live the rest of their lives like sleepy classes after a monotonous and boring school day, spending their time in a carefree laziness without anything interesting happening until it's all over. However, life's only like that for underage students. Compared to a human's life, the time they spend as student is nothing more than a blink of an eye, a period where they break through the shells of their immaturity. The inside of the shell might be hot, suffocating and boring world, but the world beyond that shell is vast and filled with limitless possibilities. So far, your life has been trapped inside the shell called Shannon. I think you're under the mistaken impression that your life will continue like this forever. Shannon couldn't deny those words. She'd been unable to harbour any clear doubts about her lifestyle, and since she never had any hope or goals for changing herself, she'd lazily continued living the way she always had. And if asked whether this life was satisfying, she wouldn't have been able to nod. She may have been intentionally averting her eyes from the truth. Without George's admonitions, she would have continued pretending... Admonishments, sorry. She would have continued pretending not to notice as her real life slipped away bit by bit, neglected. George-sama.
Georgie-sama.
Sorry.
Georgie-sama, is it wrong for me to continue living this way?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Oh, and by the way, didn't you break one of our rules just now? George immediately gave a strict answer, then broke out into a mischievous smile. Shannon already knew what she was being chided for, and she hung her head again, apparently embarrassed.
Sorry, Daddy.
Didn't you promise not to use summer when the two of us are alone?
I couldn't obey that as a promise. But if it was an order, I would have to obey it. Because I'm furniture.
Then it's an order.
I... Certainly. Georgie-san.
As Shannon hung her head, her face red, she said George's name again, this time following it with son. Yes, that's fine, Seo-chan. George smiled at Shannon, no, Seo, to praise her small act of bravery. This short exchange alone made it clear how far back their relationship must have stretched. For a long while, the two talked as if the weather raging about them didn't even enter their thoughts. They talked about the many memories they'd built during their relationship that no one else knew about. Every once in a while, a flash of lightning would attempt to interrupt them, but this could sully neither the roses nor the time they spent blushing at each other.
Cringe.
I wonder if battlers are jealous. That's right. I have something I wanted to show you.
Oh no, George, what are you doing?
Want to see my big one?
Yeah.
George, who had been speaking...
You're 18 now, right?
George, who had been speaking eloquently, suddenly started to stutter. Watching him, Shannon seemed to guess something. He's gonna ask me to show him my tits. George timidly searched through his pocket. Something got caught in the depths of his pocket, and just like the stuttering George, it took a while to get it out. It was a very small box. A small box. Okay. A small box covered in a deep blue velvet. That peculiar shape was enough to tell anyone what was resting inside. Shannon had prepared her heart somewhat, certain beforehand that this was what he'd been planning. But even so, when she actually saw it, she couldn't avoid blushing once more. He's not going to propose, is he?
I guess we'll see.
George opened the small box, took something out, and held it out for Shannon to take. I want you to take this.
I, couldn't accept something so valuable.
You can't take it?
No. I'm unworthy of such a thing.
So, this isn't a request. It's an order.
Oh my god. You called it.
Take this ring. Okay.
It's an order. I cannot disobey. This is triumphant music, like.
Yeah, that's right. Well done. Oh, look at this view. Shannon, not wanting to show her bright red face, timidly accepted the ring from George's hand while still staring at the ground. That ring wasn't a simple accessory. It was a noble object, meant since ancient times to be offered to a special woman, under special circumstances. Therefore, while George could order her to take it, he could not order anything beyond that. Anything beyond that would depend not on an order, but on Seo's own will. So is this him relinquishing his power over her? Formally?
Well, like Dobby.
Dobby is free. So from here on, I'm not ordering you anymore. Seo. I want you to give me your answer by tomorrow, without using words. Do you understand?
How should I?
I won't order you any further, so this isn't an order. But a ring is something you put on your finger after all. If you like it, you can just put it on any finger you choose. Shannon had only pretended not to know. She already understood what he wanted her to do. But she was standing at a huge crossroads of her life. Look how late it's gone. Let's call it a day. George turned away from Shannon, acting just a bit bluntly. I could probably order you to wear it on your left hand. You might be timid and dependent enough to actually obey that kind of order. But I want at least this last step to be done by your own will, Seo. Understand?
Yes.
So, that's my order. I want you to think about it well tonight and show me your answer tomorrow. Shannon nodded back. Today was the culmination of their many days spent together. This moment certainly hadn't come as a surprise to Shannon. We should be getting back to the guest house soon. If we take any longer, we'll make everyone worry about us.
I'm sorry, I just remembered I have something to do in the mansion. So, I have to go back to the mansion.
At a time like this? Is that true? George stared into Shannon's face as he laughed mischievously. He definitely saw through Shannon's lie. However, when he saw how she felt, he could sort of understand that she might be so embarrassed that she'd want to be alone. So because George realized the meaning behind Shannon's lie, he accepted it.
I guess that was a proposal.
Like, what, marriage?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, it was a ring, and he said put it on whatever finger you like.
Jesus.
I think there's only a little bit in this part, so...
Alright, should we do one more segment then?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just gonna have a bit more water and respond to a message. We'll be back
I
in a
might
moment.
get some... Yeah, I'm gonna get some water too.
Okay. Be right back, everybody. A few minutes.
Welcome back.
Back. Okay. Shannon entered the entrance hall to the mansion with a tottering gait. A mixture of exultation and uncertainty gave her a feeling that she couldn't easily describe. It swelled up in her chest until it felt like she was about to burst. After stopping for a second in front of the servant room to take a deep breath and calm her heart, she opened the door. Inside, Goda, who had been ordered to take the midnight shift at the mansion tonight, was absorbed in a worn-out crossword puzzle magazine. He looked up for an instant to see if it was one of the family had come, but when he realized it was a fellow servant, he returned to his puzzle as if nothing had happened.
Genji-sama told me to come and help you. No, he didn't. Oh, is that so? That's a relief. I was just about to go and check that the mansion was fully locked up, but I felt uneasy about leaving this room unmanned. After all, Crow-sama and the others' meeting look like it will continue for quite some time. They might request some tea at any moment.
That's true. Oh,
That's true.
Sorry.
Do you want to be Shannon, mate?
No, mate, you can have it. It's fine.
That's true.
I'll just go back to staring at her tits. It's fine.
Yeah, good idea. Then, what shall we do? Should I watch over? In that case, forgive me, Shannon-san, but I'll ask that you patrol the mansion. We'll stay here, awaiting the family's orders.
Oh, Shannon's got a patrol.
Yes.
Shannon was slightly disgusted. Even though she'd come here to help out as a favor, she was casually being forced to do the job of the person actually on duty. Furthermore, after one-sidedly forcing that task on her, Goda returned to his magazine once again and became immersed in his crossword puzzle. Shannon bowed her head as a token sign of respect for her elder, then she left the room to patrol the mansion. Thanks to her being a bit ticked off, she managed to suppress that floaty feeling she was having until just now. And anyway, she couldn't let Genji or Kanan see her looking like this. She wanted a little time to herself until her heart calmed down, so maybe going on patrol wouldn't be so bad. She began to hear the tumultuous voices of the family discussion coming from the dining hall. Someone was speaking at great length, only to be interrupted by someone else. This second person also began to speak in a very long, drawn-out fashion, until yet another person interrupted. That kept on... That kept on repeating. It was as though their displeasure was seeping out through their voices. She had been told to go to the guest house, so it would be bad if Kraus discovered her. And I'm just remembering that Rudolph also said that he might be killed.
Was it, I think I'm gonna be killed tonight? Well, it was right after he also said there's a family discussion or something, right? He needed to discuss something as a family and said that he'd be killed.
Thinking this, Shannon dashed past the dining hall. Then she went along a prearranged route through the dark mansion, checking that all the locks were secure. She walked down the hall, checking each window. There were no humans on Rokenjima other than those connected to the family, so locking up didn't really serve much of a purpose. No one had been in the habit of locking up at the Ushiromiya head family, at least not until Natsuhi had scolded them for being careless. The metal fixtures on the windows were ice cold, and as she checked them one by one, the glow in her heart seemed to cool down. Oh. I nearly did your line again, Callum.
This really wants to be Shannon.
That's
oh,
spooky.
Fuck butterflies.
The spooky music. At that time, she thought she saw something twinkling across the hall. Twinkling? How could anything be twinkling through the darkness of the hall? She figured she must have been imagining it, but she still held her breath. What the fuck's happening, guys? Grasping a curtain, she fearfully gazed down the hall. However, other than the occasional crack of thunder brightening the hallway, she was unable to glimpse any flicker again. It must have been her imagination, after all. Maybe her heart was so agitated that she'd seen something that didn't even exist. Shannon went back to checking the windows. However, a certain unnerving memory was resurrected in the back of her mind. It was that ghost story which had been passed down amongst the servants who served the Ushiromiya head family. The mansion had two different masters, one of the day and one of the night. Beatrice, the master of the night, would sometimes fly around the mansion in the form of sparkling butterflies. That was the story. Come to think of it, didn't Kanon-kun once say he'd seen it with his own eyes? Though he got sulky when I said he must have imagined it and refused to believe him, could it possibly be true? The roar of the thunder gave no answer. Oh, shit.
It's her, Matt. It's Beatrice. Oh, fuck. Is that the clock?
It's fucking spooky. What a lingering vision. Nanja.
Does he exist? We've made it to October 5th.
The second day. October 5th, 1986. Well, I think that might be a nice spot to finish.
Yes. Continuing much further would risk a 5-hour stream, I think.
We'll lock in for a big one for the next part.
Yeah, mate. So I don't know if you interpreted that midnight cutscene correctly, but there was basically just showing the whereabouts of everyone as at midnight on the 5th of October.
Why should I need to know the whereabouts of everyone at midnight?
Oh, I don't know, Matt. Could be useful information.
Could be relevant.
That's a really, I really like the atmospheric, like that little atmospheric midnight thing though. It's really cool.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I'm gonna have to go to the next page of saves, man.
Yeah, mate, or you could just overwrite the first one, but because I don't think we're going to be going back to the November 6th 9:48 p.m. save.
Maybe not.
All right, well, I'd say we're like halfway through, if not a bit further than halfway through the first episode, I think.
Cool. Very interesting stuff.
Shannon got a proposition. It's pretty good for her.
Yeah,
I
got
guess.
propositioned.
Although I do think George is a little bit of a cringe person, but you know.
Oh yeah, George is cringe AF. Shannon should be with Battler. I ship Battler. I don't ship George.
You ship Shabattler. Yeah.
Battler.
I feel like that's like everyone who plays the first episode is like, oh, George is a bit of a wanker.
Yeah. Yeah, he thinks. I feel like he sort of thinks that he knows best.
Yeah, he's very like righteous, but like he's also been brought up that way by Eva.
Eva, give it a rest.
Not grooming your child, Eva.
Well, guys, there you have it. Thank you for watching. And we will see you next time. Peace.
Au revoir.